So I shaved my head in February and it's just grown like this. So I look a little bit like Greg Brady from the Brady Bunch. That's what my friend said. So when I was a kid and people asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always said I wanted to be an architect that designs houses. And then I found out that you actually need a little bit more than artistic skill to design a house. And I decided, I can't do that. I really just like playing The Sims. And so that phase ended. And when people asked me, what do you want to do with your life? I was like, I have no idea. And then when I was 12, it all changed when I watched Edward Scissorhands, which sounds really tacky now, but I don't know. You watch a movie and it just changes your world. And I guess it happens to lots of people. And mine was Edward Scissorhands. I was like, I need to know everything about how this movie was made, how all the movies are made, the people who are involved in this movie, and then the people who are involved in like making every movie. And I just did a whole lot of research through all of my teenage years. Basically, I was just in my room on IMDb watching lots of movies. So when people ask you, what do you want to be when you finish school, you're like, I want to make movies, but I don't know, because that's ridiculous. Because where I grew up, it was like, not only in Australia, where we don't make a whole lot of movies, but I grew up in Tasmania, which is an island off the coast of Australia. So an island off an island, it felt like the middle of nowhere. You look out the window and all you see is like green pastures and mountains. And the idea of making movies is just ridiculous. As it came closer and closer to year 12, where you kind of have to make a decision, I realised I really didn't have any plan B. So I was like, well, I'll just give it a shot and I'll try and get into AFTRS, the Australian Film, Television and Radio School, which is like the main film school in Australia. And it was up in Sydney and I'd never lived out of home before, and it was like, whoa, that would be wild if I got in, because it's kind of competitive to get into AFTRS. And then I got this email about this national talent camp that was happening in each different state around Australia, and they were having one in Tasmania, and only 12 people from the whole state could go, and it was the first year that they had ever done this. And I was like, well, only 12 people will get in, so I won't get in, but I may as well give it a shot, because
why not?
And I was in the middle of doing like year 12 exams. I was supposed to be studying for that, but I was just working on my submission for this little film camp. And then when I got the email that I got in, I was shook. I think I screamed. I think I cried. I was like, this is life-changing. I'm going to film camp. And only 12 people in the state got in. And I was just so excited. And that was where I met Michael, who's like my best friend through all these years since then. And I met Rob and Chloe, and everyone at the film camp was so great, and it kind of kick-started everything, which was awesome. So yeah, I met all these great people at film camp, and I was like, wow, this might mean that I will actually get into AFTRS. I think I sent in my application, but I was like, 50-50, I might not get in. I don't know what I'll do if I don't get in. I guess I'll just try again next year. A few weeks later, I found out I got into AFTRS. So off I went into Sydney. I slept in my sister's cupboard for a few weeks. It was a bit of a mess of a trip to get up here, but we got through it, and it was actually quite fun looking back on it. I made a whole comic about it, which I guess maybe I'll link in the description. And then I got to AFTRS. And whilst I've been AFTRS, I've been making little movies, and all the while making Moments of Clarity, which is this web series that I made with Tim Logan. Back in 2018, we posted a whole bunch of comic strips. The comic strips got adapted into this short form web series, which has about a little bit less than 40 episodes. So I'm making these $300 movies at film school out of my Centrelink money, and then meanwhile I'm just going down to Tasmania during the summer holidays and making these professional animations, which was really weird and surreal, but also very cool. And then that comes to now, where we've posted Moments of Clarity, and I'll put a link to that in the description for sure. We've finished most of the episodes, and there are new episodes coming soon. But it's cool, and it's also a little bit scary when you finish a project and you get to finally show it to people. It feels like there's been such a lead up. It should be good. And then once you've finished you're like, what do I do now? I was working on my own little animated project during lockdown. I went back to Tasmania and did that just at home. And that should be coming out soon too, so that was fun. But then now I just have time to think about what the hell am I going to do next year. I've got a few projects up my sleeve, one involving puppets, a few that are animated projects, both for kids and for adults, and a feature film that I really want to make, and my graduation film just at the moment. Yeah, I just have no idea what I'm doing, and I thought I should document that. And maybe if anyone else feels like I have no idea what I'm doing with my life, I'm here. I also don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I ever introduced myself. I'm Jess, if you don't know me. If anyone's watching this, I'll be watching this in the future. And I know what my name is. Okay, see ya.